Hi, so this week we are talking about supply chain networks. Now, I recently posted a comment on LinkedIn and I'll actually read it. I basically said, what are the top 3 factors to consider? It's a constantly changing need, isn't it? Comment below. You see, what happens is our service offers change, markets change, suppliers change, and the need for a supply chain network changes. Now, what I've been seeing this year particularly, we always get a lot of work in our consulting business to analyse supply chain networks and to realign them. What I've noticed a lot this year is a heap of businesses are looking at their outbound logistics network. And I think that's coming about because, they're trying to reduce cost and improve service. But that's the topic for this week. What shape should your supply chain network be, and what are the factors that drive the shape of it? Coming right up. Okay, so it's been some interesting replies coming back on that LinkedIn post. I was curious to see what people thought were the 3 biggest drivers of, if you like, the shape of the supply chain network. What things would drive change in the supply chain network. So here's my view. I'm not saying it's the only view. If you have other sort of views and things that you think absolutely impact the shape of a network, do comment below. I'll be really keen to see those. So I'm going to put up a diagram here, a little triangular diagram with 6 things on it. I like to keep things simple. So these are the things that I think influence the shape of the supply chain network. And what I mean by that predominantly is where stockholding facilities are located, how many there are, and so on. So let's start top right on that diagram. And look, I've redesigned supply chain networks for the last 20 years. I'm prepared to be called out on this, but I think the thing that shapes your supply chain network the most, the thing that has the biggest impact, is the location of your customers and the service offer that you're delivering to those customers. Absolutely, hands down, has the greatest impact. So just think about it for a moment. If you have customers who want a 2-hour service time from placing their order, what does that mean? You've actually got to have product within 2 hours of your customers. It doesn't matter if you're going to fly it, send it on a boat, a train, a truck, whatever. It's got to be able to be delivered to the customer within 2 hours. If you have a service level that says, hey, deliver today and we'll get it to you in a week, well, there you go. You don't have to be so close to the customer. Now, why does the customer location and service have such a big impact? Well, first, it kind of draws your inventory towards the customer because you've got to be able to meet that service level. But also, if you think about it in terms of distribution costs or supply chain costs, your inbound supply chain is generally moving bulk product. You're moving shiploads, you're moving container loads, you're moving truckloads. And so the cost per unit is quite low on the inbound side of your supply chain network. However, the cost outwards, the product going to customers, is usually a much higher cost per unit because it might be going out as eachas in overnight satchels, airbags. It might be going out as cartons. It is probably going out as pallets if you're a bigger company. It might even be going out as full truckloads, but that unit cost is a lot higher than the inbound transport. And that's why the distance that you are from your customers has such a big impact on the shape of the supply chain network, or the cost of the supply chain network. So there we go. On the top right of that diagram, the location and the service offer of your customers, in my mind, has the biggest impact. So if you're going to change the service offer, what does that mean? It means that the number and location and size of stockholding facilities might change. You might have an opportunity to rationalise or to save some costs there. Okay, on the other side of the triangle then, now we look at the suppliers, and we've got the same sort of thing in reverse. So what's the cost of the inbound product replenishment? Where are your suppliers located, and what mode of transport is being used? Is product coming in by air, by sea, by road? What's that unit cost? Because they're coming in bulk, they have less of an impact. They have less of a cost impact on the whole supply chain. And so remember, it's the customer end of the supply chain that has much more influence over the shape of it. And then down at the bottom of the triangle there, ultimately, once we understand the inbound and the outbound, we can determine the number and type of the facilities that we need to hold the inventory. So again, just remember, if it's a 2-hour service turnaround, we're going to need a lot more stock holding facilities all around the country, around the region, because we've got to have stock within 2 hours of all of our customers. If it's a much slower offer, like 2 days or 7 days, we can have less facilities. But also think about the type of facility. Grocery retailers are really good at this, so they don't always have full range DCs, as they call them. They might have DCs for chilled product, for frozen product, for ambient product, for dry goods, for fast-moving goods, for slow-moving goods. Certainly big retailers understand this. You don't need to hold everything in every single facility. So think about that as well when you're having a look at a distribution network and the facilities in it. Maybe there's some products that are very rarely used and they can be held centrally and delivered over a slightly longer time frame. So anyway, I'm really doing this for all the people who commented on LinkedIn. So there we go, my top 3 influences on the shape of the network are certainly your customers and your suppliers, and then that drives the type and location of facilities. But ultimately, it's the customer locations and the service offer that shapes that whole network from the customer end backwards. But if you think differently, do comment below. I'd really love to see your comments, and I love answering those comments as we go along. So there we go, the subject of distribution networks. Now you know how this works. If you enjoyed this video, please do comment, do like, do share. If it's your first time on the channel, welcome. I hope you found this first video of interest. Videos come out generally every Wednesday, so thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next Wednesday. See you then.